Okay, so Spotify Wrapped 2024 finally came out today, and I'm a little excited. I don't really know why. It's a meaningless thing that happens every year on an arbitrary day that really doesn't lend itself to anything other than my own personal neuroses about stats. That's really it. I don't really think this video needs much more intro than that. After I go through my Wrapped ones, I'll probably provide some commentary afterwards. Although I do ask for your understanding as I will be muting the Wrapped, although it will be playing on screen, just because I don't want to get copyrighted. Don't worry though, I'll probably throw up pictures and titles of all of the songs that play throughout on the side, and I'll probably say them out verbally too. With that being said, let's get into how horrible my music taste is. Alright, let's get the show on the road. I have it pulled up. The first song that I'm hearing is Aishite by Ado, a cover. That's an interesting introduction. Hi Shunbun. Yes, that is my name on Spotify. It's that time of year again. Rap's ready. Are you? Absolutely not. Next song I'm hearing is Whims of Fate from the Persona 5 soundtrack. And then I listened to 29,000 minutes this year. That doesn't really seem like a lot to me. Top 12%, 800 minutes in one day. I was probably working. I'm gonna do the math later, but I was probably working. You played 2,300 songs this year, and I'm hearing For You by Stray Kids in the background. And that's my top song of 2024. That's not surprising. Oh my god, that percentage. Oh, that's pathetic. You streamed it 138 times. Commitment never sounded so good. That's not commitment, that's depression. I'll talk more about that later. And then after that, While It's Not a Competition, and I'm hearing If Not For You by Monet Skin in the background. There is a leaderboard, so my top songs. Yep. So For You, If Not For You, Too Sweet, Walk Like This, and Fly Girl. Flow was really that bitch for me this year. You've changed, and so has your listening. I'm hearing Charlie Von Dutch in the background. 2024 Music Evolution. Now I'm hearing Daughter by Beyonce in the background. For June, I have June was your indie sleaze strut pop phase. What the fuck about Charlie, Beyonce, and Sabrina is indie? That's weird. Okay, so for August, I'm hearing Final Fantasy XIV music in the background. And August was my steampunk fantasy soundtrack season. Okay, so like a game-oriented music I listen to. And then switching up for October, I hear For You by Stray Kids in the background again. October was your Hallyu noise K-pop moment. Stray Kids, Billlie, Zerobaseone. That's not surprising. But having For You play in the background while calling it noise music is weird. 700 artists I've listened to. That really doesn't sound like a lot. I probably listened to it less, but I don't remember where my last Wrapped was. Stray Kids was your top artist of the year. No one is surprised. You could probably put the Pikachu shocked face up there and it would work. Top 1% fan spent 5,500 minutes together. The overachiever. There, again, that doesn't sound like a lot to me. Maybe I need a better thing to compare it to. Who else got a lot of play this year? Let's see. Top artists, I assume. Yep. Stray Kids. Flow. Fucking love Flow. Billlie, Masayoshi Soken, and Zerobaseone. That's interesting. Again, I'm hearing Chick Chick Boom in the background. Oh, this is the artist message. I'll skip that. I'll watch that by myself later, but... And now I'm hearing Pop Pop by CSR in the background. Is that it? Thanks for coming along for the ride until we meet again. That was so short. Not alone. Sorry, it's Run for Roses in the background. That was so short. There was a lot missing from that, wasn't there? That was so anticlimactic. Alright, I guess I have more to talk about in the video itself. I'll try to find something to compensate for what I thought would be a longer video. Okay, that sucks. Also, that picture is horrible. They really should have just cropped that properly or used a different one. Why did they do that? Anyway, back to more important stuff, K-pop. Okay, so it is a couple hours later and I'm finally back with a way to elongate this video. Obviously, Spotify Wrapped this year sucked. It was basically a nothing burger. Then I was suddenly reminded of the Receptify site. So I've taken the liberty to hop on over there, connect my Spotify account, check top tracks of the last year, and we're just gonna go through them. First, we'll be able to compare them to the Spotify Wrapped and see how close it is. And secondly, we'll be able to see more of what my music taste is, because quite frankly, I feel like based on the Spotify Wrapped, you really only scratch the surface, like it's basically nothing. So here is where you'll really get the material to chew me out, right? So for the first song, it's the same, it's For You by Stray Kids. Now, this is the opportunity I get to kind of explain myself, since I know in my initial reaction to Spotify Wrapped, I was kind of negative about seeing this being number one, and it's not because it's a bad song, it's a beautiful song actually. The reason I was so kind of depressed about it is because For You is a comfort song for me. It's a song that I go to cry to, right? So the fact that it's number one, it signifies that 2024 was rough for me, and I got my ass handed to me multiple times. Hence, it's kind of pathetic that it's number one. After that, not much changed. We have If Not For You by Måneskin. I'm actually surprised it's this high. I wouldn't be too upset if it was in the top 100 or top 50 or something. But number two seems like a bit of a stretch. I'm thinking maybe this is from the beginning of the year. Because while I do still listen to some songs from the Rush album, If Not For You is not one of them. Again, a good song. A great song, I would say even. But I do feel like it's a little bit too high on this list. After that, number three, definitely not too high. If anything, I expected this to be number one. It's Too Sweet by Hosier. Honestly, the entire Unreal, Unearthed, Unheard deluxe album could be on this list and I would have no problem with it. Like, it is undeniably my album of the year, regardless of genre or anything. And it really took me by surprise too, because I'm not really a Hosier girl. And it was a genre and experience I was completely new to, but I enjoyed it all the same. But I also don't know if I would recommend it to people watching because it's definitely not a pop album. And honestly, it's pretty antithetical to most of the music that I enjoy. And yet, somehow... Anyway, after that, we do have some mix-ups here. For number 4, we have Fly Girl, and then number 5, we have Caught Up, both by Flo. So it seems like this list is also ending off with 2 Flo songs, just different ones. This one makes more sense to me. I think definitely in the last couple of weeks, Fly Girl has really been that song for me. I would go as far as to say that it's my favorite track from Flo's entire discography. Caught Up, equally as good. After that, we have The Ewer Brimeth by Masayoshi Soken. So this one I have to explain a little bit because I didn't get to address it when I saw my top lists of artists of the year. But this particular artist is actually the music composer for Final Fantasy XIV, and based on this particular track being so high, I could take a guess that the album that got him to be so high up in the ranks for top artists is definitely the Endwalker expansion one. Obviously, Dawn Trail, the latest one, isn't out yet, so I'm just assuming it's because of Endwalker. But yeah, it's just a game that has amazing music from him every single time. I could not recommend it more, if you are into that kind of stuff. After that, we have 2 more songs from Flo in Not My Job and Walk Like This. I could praise them endlessly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do think they make a beautiful blend of both pop and R&B music, and I'm now realizing a little bit too late that I haven't actually given them any promo, which I feel like I owe them since they're my second top artist of the year, but they actually released a really solid debut album on November 15th of this year, so please go check that out. After that, we have another very pathetic song. We have Cover Me by Stray Kids. Again, love the song. It's a track that I will stand by. It's also one that I've cried to numerous times, and so for that reason I feel extremely embarrassed that it's this high. Considering that, I'm going to move on quickly. The next one is Run for Roses by NMIXX. I was waiting for the first NMIXX track. I didn't know when it was gonna be, I don't know what it was gonna be, but I knew it was gonna be here. So I made my prediction, I want to say halfway through the year, through my NMIXX rant video, that the Break mini album they released was going to be my K-pop album of the year of 2024, and 6 months later, well, 5 months later, really, I stand by that. There's nothing that's come out this year that's really shined the way that that particular project has for me. And I think Run for Roses being number 10 on this list is just more indicative of that. I love giving NMIXX their flowers, especially for that mini album. So, giving them their props, I hope I see more songs on this list from them. After that, we have a slew of Stray Kids songs, all of them hype. Mountains, Megaverse, S-Class. I need to talk about S-Class. So it's come to my attention recently while I was playing with some, before I would say acquaintances, but now I say enemies. See, we were just talking back and forth about Stray Kids music, and eventually the topic of Stray Kids' best title track came up. And I, unabashedly, said, oh, I think S-Class is Stray Kids' best title track. And I forgot in that moment that when S-Class came out, outside of the fandom, people fucking hated that song. And I was reminded of that because in that conversation, I had the immediate backlash of like, what? But I stand by it. I fucking love this song to death. And no one can convince me otherwise. But yeah, it was interesting because I was getting clowned on. Affectionately, of course, not seriously. But it was like a really brisk reminder. I was like, oh yeah, right, people don't like this song. Anyway, after that, we have Hall of Fame by Stray Kids. Love that one too. After that, Chick Chick Boom festival version. I have a story about this one too. So I didn't really talk about the 8 album when it came out, mostly because it had a lot of the same issues I've had with many albums this year. If you've seen the K-pop mid-off Olympics video I made maybe a couple weeks back, a lot of the issues I had in that video are very prevalent here. Now, I will admit that I did enjoy this one more than the others, just because it's a Stray Kids sound. I like Stray Kids. Duh. But it did suffer from being very underdeveloped. And I felt like that was especially true for Chick Chick Boom. Now, of course, saying that, I do enjoy it. You know, if put in the right circumstance, I would listen to it again. It's a fun song, but it really does lack that kind of oomph that makes me come back to Stray Kids songs. However, when it comes to the festival version, I liked it more. Not so much more that I was obsessed with it, but it was like half a point maybe better. And generally speaking, when it comes to Stray Kids songs, they don't really grow on me. Like, I will listen to them 2 times and I'll have my final say on the song. 1 time just to have my first impression, and then 2 times just to make sure. But for some reason, the festival version of Chick Chick Boom is an exception, because I remember being generally pleased with this song when I first heard it. But like weeks later, on like a random fucking Tuesday when I was just re-listening to the 8 album again, and I came across the song, and I think something switched or clicked for me, because ever since then, every time I listen to this track, it feels like I'm doing a line of cocaine. Like, I just get so inexplicably hype. I'm ready to move mountains. So much so, it's been cemented as like a morning song for me. You know how people say, oh, you know, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. Well, the wireshred version is don't talk to me until I've listened to the festival version of Chick Chick Boom. Because there's such a visceral difference of me before listening to the song and after listening to the song. It's such a fucking energizer. It takes me from being like in bed at 6 a.m. incapacitated, I would rather die than think about getting up on my feet. Then this song plays as like my morning alarm, and all of a sudden I'm up, I have my clothes on, I've done my morning routine, I've eaten, and I'm out the door by 5:45 a.m. Like, I've traveled back in time. That's just how much more productive I become. Anyway, what I'm really trying to get at is don't do drugs, kids. Anyway, after that we have 21. Wiek by Milligram. So I'm just gonna assume outright that a lot of viewers aren't gonna know who or what this is, and that's fine. I'm here to explain it to you. This is a Serbian song by a Serbian pop band that came out circa 2022. I really like it, listen to it all the time. And I'm sure there will be more Slavic songs on here, just to be super clear. And I might as well mention it since I'm explaining myself anyway. I think I only mentioned, like, briefly in passing that I went to visit family in Bosnia one summer, but I am Bosnian, so shout out to any of my peeps out there. Please let me know how many of you are out there. I would love to know. After that, we have The Whims of Fate by Lin off of the Persona 5 soundtrack. Love it to death. Not shocked at all that it's here. Honestly, any songs off of that soundtrack could be on here and I'd be like, yup. Like, ever since I first became obsessed with it, I've just not fallen out of love with it, and I don't think I ever will. It's just one of those albums for me. I don't know what else to say. After that, we have C'est la vie by Kenny. And if you are a no-lifer like me, then you may be familiar who this is. Does Kenny JD ring a bell to anybody? Well, if she doesn't, good for you. She's actually a YouTuber on here. She makes a lot of dope videos. She also makes a lot of dope music. Very cunty. If you like that kind of stuff, go check it out. At number 19, we have Daughter by Beyonce. This was definitely my personal favorite track off of Cowboy Carter. After that, we have King Kunta by Kendrick Lamar. So I've listened to Kendrick Lamar for a long time. King Kunta in particular being here doesn't surprise me, and that is because obviously he had his beef with Drake this year, everybody knows. But every time I was just kind of reminded of how much Kendrick Lamar fucking washed Drake. For some reason, I didn't listen to Not Like Us, I just listened to King Kunta. I just went back to this song and I was like, yep, that's the one. Anyway, not much more to say there. It's just a good fucking song. After that, we have Sarajevo Sreća Moja by Halid Bešlić. Again, this is actually a Bosnian song by a Bosnian folk singer, my favorite one from him. After that, we have Aishite 3 times by Ado. Any song where she's just screaming, I probably like it. I think it's just a simple way to put it. I think I love her so much in particular because her vocal style really reminds me of almost heavy metal and kind of death metal if you like made it digestible for the general listener, but she still makes it fun and I love that. After that, we have 2 more songs by Stray Kids, Item, Chick Chick Boom. Both of them love them, can't really say much on them. After that, we have Promise by Lauve. Oh, Lauve! I also really like the album that she put out, Bewitched, not Goddess. I didn't really like her deluxe album, but I couldn't recommend Bewitched more. The experience of listening to it is very much Disney music when it was good. I think that's the best way to put it. After that, there's Sredinom by Dino Merlin. After that, we have Blind Spot by Stray Kids, another comfort song. Not so high up, so I don't feel terrible about it. Number 28, Hands of Eternity by 200 Stab Wounds. Ooh, I get to talk about death metal. I'm so excited. Okay, so I was secretly hopeful that like at least one death metal song would make it to this list just so I would have an excuse to talk about it. But I would say that before this year, where I really dedicated a lot of time listening to K-pop, I listened to a lot of rock, hard rock, heavy metal, some death metal, EDM, honestly anything that could give you a real high chance of titanitis. Don't worry, I won't harp on it too long. This is more of just like a desperate cry to see like other people who enjoy both K-pop and this kind of music. But yeah, I love the newest album that 200 Stab Wounds put out. It's called Manual Manic Procedures, and Hands of Eternity was just a single off of that album. Really great song. I wouldn't recommend it to people who are first getting into death metal, but it's not a horrible place to start either. Anyway, after that we have Why by Stray Kids, and then Hot Stuff by One Pact. Oh, that makes me sad. Okay, so a little bit more explaining to do. I was really gung-ho about supporting a K-pop group called One Pact. And that is because multiple members of that K-pop group actually came from the survival show of Boys Planet 999. The ones in particular that I was personally very supportive of was Jae Chang and Jungwoo. Now, unfortunately, the music that they've released thus far has been pretty hit or miss. It's up and down, unfortunately. I thought that their debut EP was really good, so I would still recommend anybody listen to that one, but after that point, it's not too hot. I'm really hoping that they'll get back on track because they are a group that I want to be supportive of, but they're making it very difficult with the kind of music they put out. Anyway, that's a very somber discussion. After that, we have Twilight by Stray Kids, Dash by NMIXX, love to see them here, Rising by Triple S. They're like slowly rising up the ranks of me casually listening to them, and they're on the border of me standing them. I don't think I've really ever described my criteria for standing a group before. I don't really think that it matters that much, but just, to kind of put this in context for Triple S in particular, I need to like at least 80% of their discography, and I need to like 3 comebacks back to back for me to be like, okay, I can trust you to make music that I will like. Because the one thing I appreciate the most out of an artist I will support, not even just K-pop, is just kind of consistency. If there's an artist that puts out projects that are like really up and down, it's hard for me to say that I'll stick around or that I'll continue supporting them. And I also put that rule in place just so I don't kind of invest money in a group that's like, ugh, they had that one good album, but then after that, they just kind of went off the tracks. Anyway, Pop Pop by CSR. CSR remains the only K-pop group that's kind of been the exception for me when it comes to cute concepts and cute music. I still don't know why to this day, but I enjoy it, and I really don't think I need to complicate it more than that. After that, Dreamer by Lauve. I Like It by Stray Kids. Take My Hand by Zerobaseone. Is that what really got them 5th place, though? I'm thinking back to my top artists. Here's the thing, Take My Hand is my favorite track of Zerobaseone's discography, right? Melting Point remains my favorite mini album from them, and I'm sure I've listened to it a lot this year. But the fact that number 37 is like the highest song of theirs here, and I'm not really seeing them come up again. I'm like, really, number 5? Again, I stand them, so it's not like I'm mad seeing them here. It's just confusing. I really don't know how they crunch this kind of data. After that, number 38, Beach Boy by McCaffrey. Just a very good, unhinged, chaotic song. That's it. Number 39, we have Ginga Minga Yo, This Strange World, Billlie. As much as I love that song, I don't think it's my favorite, so I'm kind of surprised it's the first track of theirs to appear on this list. But again, I'm not really mad at it. After that, Saturn by SZA. I'm not really a SZA girly. I'm not, but Saturn really hit different for me. After that, Finesse by Bruno Mars. Not surprised, that's definitely my favorite song from him. And then Law rock version Stray Kids. Okay, now that I'm saying it out loud, it's a lot easier for me to see a pattern here. For whatever reason, whenever they have extra versions on their mini albums, I'm thinking specifically of Rockstar and 8. And to break it down even further, they had Chick Chick Boom, festival version of Chick Chick Boom, and then Law, and then rock version of Law. For whatever reason, I like the other versions compared to the original so much better. And I still have love for the originals. They're still decent in my eyes. But there's also a part of me that's like, why did you not make that the title track? Why is that not the original version? Well, actually, let me be fair here. I would prefer the rock version of Law just be what it is as a title track. But I think the reason why Chick Chick Boom, the festival version, works so well is because the original exists. So I kind of retract my statement when it comes to the 8 album. The festival version hits so hard because the original exists in comparison. Whereas I think that the Law rock version is just better. And that's my take. After that, Flipping a Coin by Billlie. Fuck yes. Heyday by Stray Kids. Again, another song that I was just obsessed with this year. Mr. Rager by Kid Cudi is a little random, but I'm not mad. It's also a very good song. The Hydra by Lesserafim, also very cunty, loved that song. Jam by Stray Kids. I fucking love when Stray Kids do like dubstep-esque songs. Just fucking hits different. Like Jam and Freeze in particular, mwah, chef's kiss. After that, Leave by Stray Kids. 82 by Bad Villain. Ooh, I have a vendetta with this song. Okay, so I even made a community post about this song, I think. And I must have streamed it so much because I haven't really listened to it recently. But I must have streamed it so much at the beginning of the year since it's actually here. And it's only 1 minute and 23 seconds. Like, if you don't release a full version, I might cry. But here's the thing, they're never going to. Because the title is 82. Which is, of course, the area code from South Korea, but it's also the time code for the entirety of the song. 82 seconds, 1 minute, and 22 seconds. I know it says 23, but it's 22. It's supposed to be like a thematic intro to their debut, but it's just so upsetting because it is undoubtedly the best track on their fucking debut, and it's not even 2 minutes. Fuck this. Anyway, number 50, the last one, White Rabbit by Egypt Central. So yeah, again, this is kind of like a between hard rock and EDM type of place, but also a massive throwback to my childhood when I listened to Nightcore. Anyway, that'll be it for my pseudo Spotify Wrapped for 2024. That'll be it from me for now. See y'all later. Bye-bye.